I've played World of Warcraft for quite a while now.
I just remembered how old I am.
Over the years, I thought I had a great mount collection with things like Invincible and Ashes of Alar, really rare mounts. Turns out I've collected very little of them. In fact, I have less than half with only 334. Seeing so much missing, I've decided to spend the next 7 days strictly mount farming on one single character. I have no plan in place, no guides, and honestly, no clue. So let's just see what happens. It's day one, and thanks to the event going on called Collector's Bounty, most dungeon and raid mounts have had their drop rate up by 5%, so this is a fantastic place to start. There's also an add-on that can tell you which dungeon and mounts that you have killed and you haven't yet called Bounty Helper, and there is a lot of them, so this is where we're going to begin. I decided to go to a place I've been to many times over the years, never with success, Karazhan. First we gotta take the boat over to the Eastern Kingdoms though, and I've been playing a lot of Classic lately, so I'm actually pretty amazed even by the details on the boats and how high quality they are. It's a really nice touch to the world. Anyhow, as I'm flying over to Karazhan, which is a raid that hosts 2 mounts, I head into Zul'Gurub. It used to be a raid back in Classic that had the Swift Zulian Tiger and the Rizashi Raptor. But when Cataclysm came out, it got revamped into a heroic dungeon, and so did the mounts. I've done this place quite a lot of times over the years, to no success. As I kill the first boss, Bloodlord Mandakar, nothing changes, I don't even get the Raptor. So we then head over to the second boss in here that can drop a mount, the High Priestess. A quick one-shot her, and bam. First try on this character, the Swift Zulian Panther. With barely even being 10 minutes into this challenge, we've already claimed our first mount. And isn't it just majestic? With this mount dropping so quick, my thirst for more mounts really started to set in. So our next stop was the Tower of Karazhan in Deadwind Pass, who drops a mount looking just like him. I've never seen it, and today was no different. No mount from him. While leaving the raid, some low level evoker thought they were clever and they stood a chance to try and kill me. It's nice to know that some people still try and do world PvP in Retail WoW, but I'm sorry little one, you gotta die. The other place that can have a mount is a dungeon version of Karazhan. In Legion, I believe it got a 5-man mythic makeover, and while we can't get to this boss as fast as we do in the raid, thanks to the Warlock ability Burning Rush, we get about really quick. But this place held no mount for us as well, so let's come back to it later. Deciding to have some sort of structure, at least for this dungeon and raid segment, I went in expansion order. So now it was time for a fan favourite, Wrath of the Lich King. Now, I already have Invincible, so that takes out a very long ICC run, which I'm thankful I don't have to do. But in order to do Vault of Archivon, you've got to control Winter Grasp, something we don't have. There is a way around this that I find out really soon, but for now, to Ulduar. Ulduar's a really long raid to run, as the loot we seek is all the way at the last boss. There's a couple bosses you can skip, but we need to do something called a Yogg Zero run for Mirian's Head to drop the mount we are after. All this means is, after killing each of the bosses, you just don't speak to them to get the help, that's it. But every single time, without fail, this boss ruins my ears, as I forget to turn my headset down. Just listen. Yeah, what an awful screech. Whose idea was it to put this in the game? We arrive and take on the last boss, which is Yogg Saron, and his treasure awaits us. But once again, nothing. I did get a pet, but that's a story for another time. I really needed to somehow break into the Alliance Fortress in Winter Grasp, but how? You can't take the teleporter, and the only way to control it is to win the actual battle. Well, I guess it's time to do some shenanigans. By heading into a particular corner above the wall of Winter Grasp, and then mounting up on a mount like a hyena or the Volpera racial one, you can sort of clip through the wall if you jump at the same time as you mount. From there, you just do some more parkour, and you drop down, and voila, you're into Winter Grasp, even if you don't control it. Now in this raid is the giant bosses that can drop the Black Mammoth mount. I actually got this in Wrath of the Lich King Classic, but I just don't have it here. And after killing 5 bosses, it doesn't drop again. In fact, not a lot of places did drop. I just went clearing instance after instance, and I found myself losing hour upon hour. Thankfully, Firelands is amazingly fast to get to Ragnaros, as you just run straight to Alice Razor, pick up 3 feathers, one-shot her, then you just fly all the way over to Ragnaros, skipping every single boss except the 2 mount bosses in here. Beautiful, right? If you don't get the mount, you can actually do this again by swapping to the normal difficulty, giving you way more options, which I thought would be a good thing, but it actually ends up being a bit of a curse. And also, if you mess up by accidentally clicking on her and killing her, well, you're now stuck having to clear the whole entire raid to get to Ragnaros. Super clever, ain't I? While I'm wasting 7 days farming mounts, you could be learning an awesome skill with today's sponsor, Boot.dev. Now, gaming and coding go hand in hand. I've always wondered how games are made, and learning they're strung together with code blew my mind. then what makes boot.dev awesome is the fact they turn learning into a literal game itself. It's like an RPG where you can progress through levels, and there's quite a lot of them. You can unlock achievements as you learn to code. It's actually a really brilliant idea. You can learn back-end web development too from start to finish. So I actually spent a bit of time practicing this and learning about Python. I went with the introduction, and at first I was pretty confused, but by the end of a quick 13 lessons, I could write and solve a basic line of code, and I understood how to fix a bug thanks to the way you're taught, and I felt pretty accomplished, and it's left me wanting to take more. You can also learn programs like Java too, and anytime I think of Java, I think back to the old school web browser games that I used to play on like my really chunky monitor. Now, because of the way the lessons are built in, it's fun, which means you don't get bored, so you actually do reach your goals, because you can't learn to code without actually doing it. So getting hands-on practice is the best way to learn. If you're struggling on something, you've got your own little personal helper in Boots. Ask him what you need and he will quickly answer any problems and solve whatever issue you've got. So get coding, rank up on them global leaderboards, learn a great skill, and use my code Antijax to get 25% off your entire first year. Thank you again to boot.dev for sponsoring this video. On our tour of every single raid, really, we was now at Dragonflight. Yeah, so far I've received nothing except that Panther mount. I got baited. A nice quick mount to start with. I got my hopes up thinking that day one would be a mount piñata, but so far I was wrong. However, there was two mounts I wanted from here. Experiment 12B and the Blazing Drake. Unfortunately, Ultraxion didn't want to comply this time, so it gave me one last shot with Deathwing himself. However, first we have to take down his spine. Now, I haven't soloed this place in a very long time. I've just recently raided here in Cataclysm, and Blizzard have made a good change. You now only need one blood to blow up the spine, and you can get through this fight so much faster. Now I stand in the middle all the way to the last platform, as you gotta break his spine 3 times. As I did this in Kata, I thought you'd do this in retail too. And I'm not thrown off his back, so I must be right, until I randomly do get thrown off his back. And I died, then I died again, and again. I genuinely couldn't figure out how to survive this encounter, until my good friend reminds me, you gotta constantly move left and right when you're doing it solo. So the first time around, I must have got insanely lucky by just standing still in the middle. It took me a while, but I made it past him, and Deathwing was a really easy kill too, but no mounts here once again. Off to Mr. Pandaria then, and I killed Elegon, the Astral Cloud Serpent, who hosts a beautiful mount looking just like him, but I just got a pet. Then I messed up by trying to kill Undasta on the Isle of Giants before not realising that you still can't fly here, so I fell to my death. Then trying to get back to the other side, I nearly drowned of fatigue, before I actually realised I got a seahorse mount. Just for this situation, although I am curious if there's anything deep down there where the sharks swim. Maybe I'll check one day. We then went to the Isle of Thunder where Nalak was slain because honestly he's always defeated, it's hard to get a tag on him. Before I entered the raid Throne of Thunder, where I once again died to a mechanic that I completely forgot about. I remember that as a priest I used to go into looking for aid and life grip people so they'd fall off the bridge. I might have to do that again in Mock Classic. On top of that, I didn't even know how to start the Meg Boss, and I was stuck here for a few hours as well. Things wasn't going well. A lot of deaths, not a lot of mounts, and it was starting to get very late into day one. Thankfully, I randomly started this challenge on a Wednesday, so this will definitely play into our hand. But with that being said, I decided I had to come up with a plan for day 2 onwards. It was early morning on our next day, and after a pretty poor start to this challenge, I decided now things would be different. I was up bright and early in the morning, ready for a full day of mount collecting and to start boosting these numbers up. And while I still had some dungeon and raids to do, I decided to just blast through these as fast as I possibly can. Thankfully, Siege of Orgrimmar had a really easy skip allowing you to just go and take on Mythic Garrosh immediately. In a nostalgic fight as I've not been here in a long time, although I'll be revisiting it in Mop Classic at some point. Although no mount from him today, Blackhand, another orc with a very ugly mount, the Iron Hoof Destroyer, but I would take it right now, didn't decide to drop it either, and all the orcs decided to keep their mounts for themselves. In fact, I'll just do this. I cleared Hellfire Citadel to no avail. Nighthold on 3 different difficulties. Yeah, 3. Nothing. I did Antorus on 4 different difficulties. No drops there either. Mind you, it also took me 30 minutes to figure out how to do this fight against the owner. I'd just get one-shotted. I eventually figured out, thanks to a guide, that you can just go into the ship once. Then you click all these crystals, and after that, your job is to kill ads and you win the fight. And as cool as it was seeing some of these raids that I've not been to in years, I was losing out on valuable time running through these raids. But the game took pity on me. As I was heading into the later expansions and going to Zuldazar, place I've not been since BFA, I received a quest, Time to Fly, that had a reward. I double click it to make sure I just seen right and you get a mount. Surely there is more to this. So with a lot of eagerness, I flew as fast as I can to turn in this quest, just to see my mount number go from 1 to 2. And from a simple turn-in, we received mount number 2 on day number 2. The Scarlet, I'll probably butcher that name, so I'm just going to call it a dinosaur. And it actually looks really cool. And to be honest, I was hoping things would start to change from here on out. Morning then turned to afternoon, and afternoon turned to evening. And I was still on that treadmill of trying to clear out all the raids that had buff mount drop rates. And I didn't realise how long it actually takes if you was to clear through all of them and you didn't have the skips like I don't. And as I was approaching the final ones, I did get another hit of nostalgia revisiting places like King's Rest and the Underart, places I used to run Mythic Plus through back when it was current. I even got to go and kill Sylvanas and got some PTSD from returning to the Shadowlands. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but all I did was PvP that expansion anyway, so all these raids was really new to me. Killing the Jailer was actually really cool too. I forgot how awesome he looked until he turns into some random pile of low textured metal that looks sad. But time was running out on day 2 already. I'd barely finished all the raids, with still a few difficulties left to do, and I hadn't got more than 1 mount a day so far. I really needed to put more hours in and come up with a different strategy for the rest of the week. Well, this would be embarrassing, but day 3, it all changed. Everything changed. Day 3 begun, and now I was set on getting mounts. I finished off the Sanctum of Domination as one of my last raids for the week, and I'm instantly rewarded with the Sanctum's Gloomcharger's Reigns. I'm sorry Shax, I know you've been farming this for a long time, so my perseverance paid off. That's a huge mount already and has an awesome design and really fits the Shadowlands theme. Could this be the start of a really big turnaround? With all my raids now completed for the week and 1 mount to show for them, mind you it's a beautiful mount, I decided to go and visit Torghast, a place that gives me the shivers still. I wasn't a fan of it back then as all I did is PvP and I had to do this if I wanted to be competitive. But it's many expansions later now, and all the times I neglected it would pay off. As for reaching floor 8 of the Jailer's Gauntlet, which is insanely easy to do in the War Within, and clearing every single boss there, I would be rewarded with yet another quick mount, the Colossal Ebenclaw Morat. I saw many people with these out and about, but I never knew where to get them or even bothered looking. But now I'm a proud owner of my rat. With just some dungeons to run daily now, I asked one of my friends Osri if he could help me out of a dungeon I've been to only once. That was when it was current, and he also basically carried me through it then. I needed his raiding expertise, as doing this dungeon on hard mode guarantees you a mount. Naturally, he's playing a Gnome and Mechanome and he tries to troll me because he's Alliance, and I thought he fell to his death with Karma. That would have been perfect. Now this dungeon is really cool, but it's also weird. I don't really understand much what's going on. We make it to the last boss and Osri tells me he thinks it's on hard mode, so I'm pretty nervous. We one-shot the boss, at least I thought we did, until it turns out that they have so many shields making them take basically 99% less damage. Thankfully with both of us pretty geared and attacking it, it only takes us around 2 to 3 minutes to take down Solia, and we earn ourselves 2 achievements and a Tazavesh Gear Glider. A flying disc that actually looks really cool. You can also do this dungeon twice, once a week for Mythic for that guaranteed mount on hard mode, then daily on Heroic for a chance at the boosted rate of the mount. So I went straight after, but Osri didn't want to do it again, and I don't blame him. However, now because I'm on my own, killing her even on Heroic takes me an eternity. I'm not kidding. It takes me like 10 minutes or so, and if I ever hear "you are nothing, oppose me and be extinguished" one more time, I will go insane. Luckily for me, I'll never have to, as the next kill, Solia drops my mount and I get the Cartel Master's Gear Glider. Basically the same model, but I don't care. Now there is some mounts that I can farm. They drop in the normal version of the dungeon, so they're repeatable as many times as you want until you get it or you're locked out. And I think you will all know one of the places I'm about to go. Yeah, Skolomance, where Lord Rivendare lives. I ran this place over and over, timing myself to see how fast I can get it done, and it ended up being around 4 minutes on my Warlock. I saw 2 of his epic swords drop with no mount, so I left this place for a little while later. Off I went to Dragonflight, a place I've got very little knowledge of. However, I did find out about a mount I could farm. By killing gnolls in the Azure Span, you can get 3 different types of meat: Flash Frozen Meat, Tuskar Jerky, and Nolan's House Special. I also didn't know you can buy them off the auction house, so if you don't have this mount, just go to the auction house. I farmed them for a little bit and you need 20 of each, which took me probably less than an hour. Once I had all the meats, I went to Freefall's Lookout and spoke to Zonwogul, who for our meat gave us a mount, the temperamental Skyclaw. And it's like a flying fox. It's actually pretty cool to be honest. Next up was another super easy mount. I'm surprised I actually didn't have it. All it takes is a very quick run through the Plaguefall dungeon. Now I already did this and killed the bosses, but I went to have some food, so when I came back I was outside and it reset. But once you've cleared this on a high level character, sitting in the slime is a curious slime serpent. If you pet it, you receive a mount, the slime serpent. Really easy, and I'm really shocked I just didn't have this. Now I told you I had to make a change on day 3, and that's what I did. Next up was a unique mount. It didn't drop from anything, or from a quest. It came from an achievement. In Dragonflight, and now the war with him, in zones there is things called glyphs. Now I know they used to be used to upgrade your dragon, but I honestly don't know what their purpose is now, and if you do know, please let me know in the comments below. After flying around for a little while collecting them from each zone, once you obtain every single one in Khazal-Gar, you're now rewarded with an achievement, Khazal-Gar Glyph Hunter, and you get a mount, the Swarmite Sky Hunter. A web-flying scorpion spider thing, and I'm a big fan of this one. Also, in Warlords of Draenor, there's quite a few rares that drop an item called a rattling cage that can contain one of several mounts. But the rares are never up. I check around the clock, war mode on, war mode off, and never really found any. Until I did find one, he spawned right as I was about to fly away, but no mount from him. So I decided to fly over to another zone, Shadowmoon Valley. Back in WoD, there was mobs around each zone that could drop a mount, and I collected most of them as a pretty easy, except Poundfist. He always eluded me, but one always eluded me, the Talbot kit. So I was shocked as soon as I entered the zone, my rare scanner goes off saying Pathrunner has been found, but I couldn't locate it. I had to be fast, or maybe someone else would steal it from me. But I managed to locate her, kill her, and get ourselves a Swift Breeze Strider. In a fitting end to day 3, with my determination now at a high, how many could I truly get? The beginning of day 4 started off like every single day for me now, running the daily heroic dungeons trying to get something cool. The Raptor was still eluding me in Zul'Gurub, and I honestly wasn't expecting much considering the luck I had on day 3. And oh cool, yeah, the mount drops instantly. I get the armoured Vazashi Raptor. Not as cool as a green one from back in the day, but hey, who doesn't love a good Raptor mount? Now in Darkshore there's a thing called Warfronts, where lots of different mounts can be acquired. I already have most of them except for the Frightened Kodo. I've never seen it, so I spent a bit of time flying about and seeing if it's up. I've been pretty lucky with rare spawns in the world, but I can't find this one at all. So I went back to Skolomance. I was on my 18th run or so and was determined not to give up, and hopefully it would drop before this challenge actually ended. I'd seen 2 swords so far, and honestly, I grinded this place so many times back in Classic Anniversary for that damn cape of the Black Baron, just to have it taken by a friend. So I have done this place more times than I can imagine, and the runs was becoming second nature to me. But luckily for me, after 18 attempts, Death Charger range drop, and that's a long-term goal acquired. An undead on an undead horse, but at least I can use it on the Alliance if I ever decide to play them. With Death Charger range now acquired, I figured, why not go for the other mounts that can drop in the normal dungeons too? I can just sit there and do them over and over, as long as I don't get instance locked. That means our next stop was the Stone Core. Now I can make it to the boss that I need in around 1 minute 30 seconds, so it's extremely quick to do. Not only that, you have a teleporter to take you straight back out to the start of the dungeon and reset it. And while it was starting to get into the afternoon, just because I'd get instance locked because of how fast I could run this, on my 14th run, Reigns of the Virtuous Stone Drake dropped, and my luck is truly insane right now. And it's such a beautiful mount. This also gave me the achievement No Stable Big Enough, so on top of getting mount number 13, I get a Frost Shard Infernal giving us another mount. And I remember that, I think I remember that these were going to be Gladiator mounts in Legion, but I'm happy that I finally can use an Infernal mount. Now with both dungeon mounts got, there was still one dungeon mount, with 2 dungeon mounts acquired, there was still 1 dungeon mount left to farm, and that was in the Vortex Pinnacle. I actually saw my brother get this way back in Cataclysm, but it's got such a low drop chance and I've never seen it even though I've leveled so many times. I also thought this dungeon may be a longer one, but it turned out to be the same as doing Stratholm. Sometimes I could make this run even faster and get to the boss in about 2 minutes. It was starting to approach the afternoon and I strapped myself in ready for the long run. If I got this, I'd be happy. I'd done a few runs in about 7, and as I kill Atarius for the 8th time, I get Reigns of the Drake of the North Wind. Nope, I am not kidding. I got all the dungeon mounts in less than 20 runs each. I think that's really lucky, but I was happy to be done with these and it just looks magnificent. Then as nighttime approached, I got a quest off Bran that offered me a mount as a reward. All I had to do was listen to his tale. Blizzard know Bran can be annoying, as his abilities are literally just his voice lines that he spams at you. It's a nice touch.
Those webs will summon Nerubians. Don't stand in them.
But after witnessing some lore and story, we get another easy mount, bringing the total to 16. We get the Delver's Grobtrotter, a helicopter. Actually looks really cool. Before day 4 then comes to a pretty successful end with plenty of mounts, but mainly rare ones, I headed back to Darkshore one last time to see if I could spot our lost little friend, and as I go to check his spawn points to have a look around, I don't even get to use a macro or even have a chance to look as the frightened Kodo is panicking running about. We calm him down, and in return he offers to join us on our travels, giving us a frightened Kodo mount and bringing day 4 to a really good end. Now with more days already behind us than in front of us, our weekly raids all done, nearly all the dungeon mounts acquired, I had to start thinking outside of the box. One of them is PvP. Now I'm a massive PvP fan, and there is a mount you can get from doing this. While the season ends soon and I don't have time to do a gladiator push, I can get this season's vicious mount. So by playing solo shuffle and winning more rounds than losing, I can get some percent each time towards the vicious electric eel mount for winning games over 1k rated. And I must say, Blizzard did a fantastic job with this one. It's a truly unique mount and possibly one of my favourite PvP mounts in the game, apart from the spider. Then I tried my hand at some more Torghast, as I heard there's more easy mounts here. But I'm going to be honest with you, I really hate this place. I made it to floor 2 before I did a U-turn and hauled ass out of there. Then I remember the fact that you can use Trader's Tender and get mounts. There's one I can buy right now, and that's the unarmoured Death Tusk Fellboar, giving us a giant green pig, because who doesn't want a pig for a mount? Now for a more unique mount, and I wonder if many people even know about this. This was a pain though, I'll tell you that. For killing 2,000 minor or irrelevant demons on Argus, you're awarded a mount. I had 400 already, so I put up a timer to see how long this would take me to do so, and I just got to work. Everything is a one shot, and at Darkfall Ridge the demons will just run at you 24/7, so it's more about not going insane while you just press 1 over and over and over. Before I knew it, after over 30 minutes, I got Anchu Mana Burns the achievement and the Bleak Hoof Rune Strider. Not a fan of the goat kind of models, but it's another one down. What I also added to my daily task now is going around Pandaria and crashing into walls, which would cause my whole game to crash weirdly enough. Then I would take on the Zandalari Warbringers. These drop 4 different mounts of the Dire Horn that they are riding on. They spawn roughly every hour, and they also drop rep tokens, so if you're missing Mr. Pandaria rep, get yourself killing these. Now I already have 2 colours of them, so getting stuck the other 2 would be huge. But I don't get lucky with these guys. And honestly, I was starting to run out of ideas, and I was a bit overwhelmed on what and where to go next. So I spent a lot of time on the Fallen Reach killing rares around there, trying to get a mount from them, but nothing ever happened. However, looking at my journal then gave me a solution. Gold. Now I won't buy a WoW token or store mounts or anything like that, everything has to be earned. So the gold I've earned from mount collecting so far can go back into hopefully purchasing mounts. I haven't earned much, but Income Life Summer is a mount I must have forgot to purchase way back when. Yeah, you can tell I'm not really good at the collecting thing yet, but I will get better. For 3,000 gold, I buy the reins of a blonde riding yak for a rather easy mount for once, and pretty cheap too. So go buy the yaks if you haven't. Taking in some more nostalgia, Shadowlands was a goldmine for mounts, or so I thought. The rares around here are always up, but I didn't know they had such a low percent chance to drop. I remember farming this arena too. I think that's a good thing, but a negative thing about this collector's bounty event as well. I'm enjoying the success of the boosted drop rate, but when you farm the mounts that have 1% or less chance to drop, the chances of getting it in one reset on one character is... well, yeah, actually it's 1%, isn't it? One of the quest lines I did to get myself yet another mount was actually help out the Alliance, specifically the Worgen. Yeah, I know I'm Horde, but in WoW nowadays, we're all friends and help each other out. At least I think that's how the story's going. I need to pay more attention to the lore. Anyhow, the goal was to help out the Worgens take back Gilneas, and at my level now, it was a very easy, quick quest line. It was pretty fun too, and I really enjoyed it. But doing this rewarded me with another mount, and while for some reason the actual footage of me obtaining it disappeared, this is what the glorious fox looks like, and I'm really flying through. So I decided to use Zygor now to help me figure out how to actually obtain some of the more harder mounts. And while travelling to a dungeon ready for my next grind, I looked for a rare that can drop a mount, and it's actually up, just casually flying around the top of the mountain. I quickly tag it and kill it, and I get myself the Zenet egg. Now, I can't add this to my collection as it's going to take 7 days to hatch, and I think it's also pretty rare to find. Who knows, maybe it'll make an appearance in the next video. And I mean, I would have liked this mount, it looks pretty cool, but what can you do? So why am I in Dragonflight, and what's the next thing I'm doing? Well, we need a ring. In fact, we need 3 rings. Each drop from a boss in a different dungeon, and while Wowhead says there's roughly a 25-26% chance for them to drop each, I think that was for 5 players because it certainly didn't feel like it. I'd often get no loot from the first boss in the dungeon anyway, except some quest items. But eventually, as we hit the afternoon of the day, the Raging Tempest dropped ring number 1, the Thunderous Downburst Ring. I then spent quite a lot of time running the next dungeon for the second ring, but unfortunately instant lockouts would hinder me once more. But my plan was always the same. When this happened, head back to Pandaria and fly about, killing rares. But then it happened, what I was dreading after many kills. I killed one that drops a mount that I already have, and that hurts. I probably shouldn't kill these guys, but I didn't know at the time of recording this how it worked. I thought they could all drop a different colour dire horn. Realising I'm also missing one of the raptors that can drop from this egg, the primal egg. It has a chance to hatch several different colours, and I'm missing one, so it's a pop I'm willing to take. As I then kill Undaster, but I don't get no Triceratops from him. After a few dinosaur kills, I get the primal egg, just to remember its duration. It says 3 days, meaning technically this should hatch at the nighttime of day 7. Our next few mounts take us out of World of Warcraft and into the world of Hearthstone, a game that I frankly suck at and have rarely played. The first mount we come across thankfully has us face off against a computer, and it's just following a tutorial through the mercenaries mode. It didn't take too long, but after a while of going through the motions, we get a pop-up saying we've earned a World of Warcraft mount, Sarge's Tale. This was at 7:30 PM. Now fast forward to 9:30 PM, I'm still playing Hearthstone. Why? Because I suck at it, and I needed to get 3 wins against other players. But I eventually started to understand the game just a little bit, and I found a deck that I actually liked called the Leech King. Basically, I'd summon loads of leeches and my HP would skyrocket and theirs would drain. Some matches would take me 30 minutes and I'd be taunted by the other player and then I'd just lose. But eventually, I won the game, giving me 3 total wins, and I didn't get a pop-up, which had me panicking, as I couldn't play any more Hearthstone. Fun fact, while I'm writing this script, I'm sat here playing Hearthstone too. I'm kind of addicted to it now. But this adds 2 mounts to our total in Sarge's Tale, the little mouse, and I also got it in the end, don't worry, the half-steed, a flaming horse. Then as evening fast approached, all that time I spent killing rares on the Fallen Reach earlier gave me a currency, Elemental Overflow. This would actually come in handy as a mount is obtainable from this in Valdrakken. For only 2,000 Overflow, they will sell you the Stormhide Salamantha, which is a gormless looking creature, but as the sun set, day 5 came to an end, I was ready for the final 2 days. Day 6 started off fantastically. So you remember them 3 rings I needed, but I was instance locked. Well, I got the second one, but the third one completely evaded me, until my first run of the day, it drops. Now, why do you need these 3 rings from dungeons? Well, there's a Tusker dude who in return for them, who will give you an Otuk mount, the Ivory Trader's Otuk, and I mean, this thing's just cute, everyone needs to get themselves an Otuk. What a start to the day. I figured then, I've had a Scarecrow transmog this whole time, maybe that was scaring off the mounts. So, a little glow up to look more like a farmer or a rancher, and let's get some more mounts. Easily enough, I had time walk badges that you get for doing time walking dungeons and such, and then you can spend them at a time walking vendor. I thought they sold just one mount with a theme to the expansion, but apparently now they have plenty. They even have a bee mount, but as soon as I saw the Urzil Flesh Ripper, it was an instant buy from me. I always wanted this demonic head mount from the raid, but this recolor will definitely do. Now, after still doing my laps of Mr. Pandaria and still not seeing any of the dire horns, I had an idea. Just to flick through my mount journal with Zygor and see what mount I fancied going for the day. One of them is the Fallen Charger. Now, I remember this being a thing back in Shadowlands, but I don't think I ever saw it or killed it. So as I zone into the moor for the day and see where I need to run to, I barely leave where you zone in before my rare scanner goes off saying Fallen Charger is found. Now I've got no clue where it is and I can see on my map a location, so I start running there as fast as I can to get the tag. But then I don't see it on my minimap. I check and I'm the only one in the moor, at least on the Horde side, but I just can't find it. Maybe my add-ons played up, or maybe it's ran off into one of the different paths. I thought my time to kill has passed, and I don't think it's a 100% drop chance anyway. But then it appears on my minimap and it shows up. I kill it and bam. First attempt, Fallen Charger reigns. It's golden, it's ghostly, it's fantastic, what a mount. And this got my heart pumping for day 6. Another mount I just never wanted to farm out was one located in Ardenweald. By slaughtering all the population of bristlecones in the Mistveil Tangle, you've got a chance that they'll call for backup. Now I was watching the Pokemon Presenter this time, so I was easily just doing this in the background, and I'd say after 20 to 30 minutes of one-shotting them, my add-on pops off, and then in the chat they say, "The enemy is too strong, save us Tizo," and somehow I missed that. I didn't see it. But there is Chompy, and then when you kill him, Tizo. Kill both of them and you get yourself the Spy Moor Glacier, a huge parasitic mount with lamps to brighten your way. Alright, for my next place, I went to the underwater zone of Vashir. Now why am I here, you may ask? because I never once did the quest for this place, meaning I'm missing out on a mount. By literally just doing the introduction quest and a few more after, we get to jump onto a seahorse who is trying to throw us off, but we are very much dressed for this sort of occasion. Eventually we tame it, giving us a very easy mount in the Vashir seahorse. I mean, I like mounts like this. Probably never going to use it, but it's simple, easy and effective. And as night once again slowly starts to creep in, I had a great idea to get a mount. I'm only missing a few achievements from Glory of the Draenor Hero, so why not see if I can get them? See, some dungeons I've not seen in years, and I get a blast from the past doing them. So that's why I went and did. Some were very easy, I mean, just one shot the boss kinda easy, boom, achievement pops. Some are a bit more complex, although not too difficult, things like have a worm suck up 20 spiders. And thanks to the WoW in-game achievement tracker, it turned from red to white once I met the criteria, and it was fun doing things like this. Some took a long time to do because you just needed to stand there and let ads spawn in, but it wasn't difficult until it was, because of course an achievement had to be a pain in my ass. Welcome to I Saw Solace, an achievement that I don't understand even though I've read through it 500 times. The gist of it is, I think, you get phoenixes that chase you. If they touch you, they blow up. Around the room is Pile of Ashes. You've got to make 3 of these birds rise at the same time. So what you do is you get them to stack on each other by running around. Then you're supposed to stand near these ashes or in the middle of them and they all blow up. My issue is, I don't know if I've done it or not because I don't understand what I'm doing. So when I think I've done it, I kill the boss and lo and behold, I didn't do it. Meaning it's impossible for me to now complete the meta achievement today. I'd have to finish it on day 7, my last day. But I wasn't scared. I decided I'm gonna do this no matter what. Some achievements you need special items for because you're so powerful now, even without gear, you'll just one-shot bosses. That means no achievement, as some bosses have got certain mechanics at a certain percent. So how do we get around this? Well, toys and engineering, of course. Let me explain. Now I want to use these 2 grenades on my bars, but in order to do this, I have to be 1, an engineer, and 2, a goblin engineer, which requires me to level up the profession. So while I was waiting to do this, I decided to go and do my daily round of Pandaria, slaying them. And I torture myself once more by killing the same one for the 3rd time and it dropping a duplicate again. Why? Realising I'm just cursed to never get the one I want, I still don't give up yet, and by not giving up, I kill another one and get reins of the Jade Primordial Diamond Horn. 2 kills later, giving us the best looking dire horn out the whole bunch. Alright, now I won't complain. Grinding paid off. Back to our engineering, where I had to spend a bit of gold and some time to make us into a goblin engineer. I hope it was worth it. So yeah, that's me, a naked undead, running through molten lava with lava coming out of my feet. I had to upgrade my bag spaces tenfold because of the amount of stuff I've been collecting from dungeons and such. I've never had gold as a poor PvP and I've been making some nice gold doing this. But a moment of truth, for this achievement, I've got to damage this ogre. He summons the rock elemental first and he won't summon the fire elemental unless he takes damage. So I throw the big daddy at him and I nearly kill him but I don't, which means he summons a fire elemental. Then we kill the ogre, then we kill the boss and we get a gift of earth and fire. So yeah, engineering, definitely worth it. Then I came to another roadblock. It's called No Ticket and you gotta knock 20 orcs off the train in Grimrail Depot. The only issue is, I'm a warlock with no knockback. But thanks to a guy's post on Wowhead saying the wind can actually knock off the orcs for you. Now I was on one side and it didn't happen much, but sometimes I would just quickly see one orc go flying off the train. It was too fast for me to count. So then I went to the other side and this one looked way more promising. But the only option was, I didn't know how many's been flying off. So I had to stand here for a kind of long time to make sure I got 20. But even then, killing the boss just came down to chance. So I said, screw this, killed the boss, bam, achievement pop. Phew, relief. The last stop on my tour of achievements was Upper Blackrock Spire. I completely forgot this was a dungeon in WoD. The achievements here all seem super simple on paper. I got the first one really easy, just kill ads, click the lightning stuff, one shot the boss and you're done. On the dragon boss end, you couldn't one shot her as she always lives on 1 HP. Which is good, as you then have to wait for her to summon her little whelps, not once, but twice. It's important you let her do it twice. Then you AoE them down, achievement done. Which then left me with one boss left, the Warlord. With no gear once again, I was going to use a strategy of throwing my big daddy, as we gotta kill dragons before killing her. But I didn't have a big daddy and I threw regular dynamite that's supposed to do 2 damage and I one-shot her, oh for goodness sake. So that means tomorrow I have to do 2 achievements with no mess ups or I'm screwed. With so many mounts obtained so far during this extremely busy week, I wanted to end the night with just one more mount, and by filling up my monthly traveller's log at the end, the reward is a mount, and I'm only a small amount off it. So by just upgrading a random piece of gear with Valor Stones, I get enough points to head over to the chest, open it up, and claim the Forsaken's Grotesque Charger. A really cool horse model. And with that, day 6 came to an end, leaving just one day left to go. It's a final day and I wake up eagerly, super early, 6 AM to spend the whole day mount farming. Is what I would say if I didn't oversleep, and it's already 10 AM. The day is Wednesday, which means every raid has now reset, every mythic dungeon, and I've already wasted hours sleeping. Not a good start. But you can bet the first thing I did was buy me some of them Big Daddy grenades, because before I do anything, we're finishing off Glory the Draenor Hero. With no time to waste, within 10 minutes or so I was backing up a Blackrock Spire. I had so much to do today, but honestly, just not enough time. While I'm super happy with the amount of mounts I've collected already, it could be more. So I realised I had a toy as well, the World Shrinker, which literally shrinks me down to a peanut, making you do negative damage to her, which is a good thing. However, at this rate, it would take me hours to get her down, and I don't have hours. I've already freed my Big Daddy, which did nothing to her, so it's either I risk killing her now with a spell, ruining my chances at the achievement and the mount, or I stand here for hours hitting 2. So I just say sod it and attack her, and luckily it doesn't even do half to her. Thank the Titans, man, that would have been rough. I attack her once more, and this phases her, meaning I can now start one-shotting the dragons all around her. After killing 5 of them, I'm safe to kill the Warlord, earning us the achievement Dragon more like Dragonfall. 1 achievement left to get. Yeah, it's that Solace achievement. I went to bed last night watching YouTube guides on what to do. I watched a video of Asmongold giving his guide 10 years ago, and I still just didn't have a clue. Well, I had more of a clue than yesterday. At least I thought I did. This was it. All came down to this, me and the little firebirds. So I start off as usual, kiting the birds, creating 3 of them, which is a whole goal. Then it's all about stacking them up and having them explode on top of each other to create 1 bird, which then creates 3 birds. I think, oh god, I'm going to mess this up. I AoE the birds and I end up with 1 bird when apparently I should have 3, and there's too many birds. According to Wowhead, YouTube, Asmongold, everyone at this point, I'm frustrated, probably not getting the achievement, so I just keep standing on the ash waiting for a miracle to happen. I try and reset it back to how I started the boss and I go again. But now I'm just so many minutes in, I've seen so much happen, I genuinely don't know if I've done it correctly or not. I just stand there and watch all the birds blow up, and they just all keep summoning loads more. So I decide, F it. I attack the boss, and we actually did it. We actually did it right. Glory of the Draenor Hero, Frostplains Battleborn mount collected, and 10 years of my life took off me. Worth it for this chunky fella though, right? With Glory of the Draenor Hero done, I thought, why not go for Glory of the Hellfire Raider too? Once again, I had quite a few achievements already done, but the ones I didn't, oh boy, they are awful to do solo. Like this boss, for I'm a Soul Man. It requires you to AoE down 20 souls in 10 seconds, which would be easy if A, the souls just didn't disappear when they hit you, B, despawn, or C, I'd just delete this achievement from the game. How about that? When I finally thought I had enough souls, everything was slowly going my way, they was all trapped. Do you know what good old Antijax did? Yeah, I misclicked the boss rather than the ads and one-shot him. Yeah, I'm very clever, and I'm very annoyed. Luckily I can do this, or attempt to do this, on other difficulties. So I attempted another achievement which required Manaroth to kill his ad with Empowered Fellseeker. This also took me a very long time that I didn't have to set up, as he would just throw me off the edge. Thanks to standing by this purple pillar, and using my good old Big Daddy bombs and World Shrinker, I could actually bring Manaroth low without killing him. And by low I mean he's literally at 1% and I probably got lucky. A pain in the butt achievement, but I told myself, if I could get this, I would go back and try that awful Soulman achievement after. And I managed to do this achievement correctly. So all that's left was to kill Archimonde, then pop out and change difficulty to try and get this achievement again. But the game had another idea. Why not just drop Archimonde's mount for you? Yeah, I got the mount, and it looks awesome, and I'm glad I will never have to come back here. Well, I do, because now I have to finish off that last achievement. I tried this so many times and I would just constantly mess it up. It was midday, I was running out of time to get everything I wanted done, but I was so close to finishing this meta achievement and getting another mount, so I persevered. The actual best way to do this is normal difficulty, because the Draenei dude blasts your construct, but on normal he barely does any damage to you, meaning you can spawn a lot more ghosts and trap a lot of ghosts in one go. I got really lucky and I managed to survive an insane amount of time in just one construct, as sometimes ghosts can randomly break off the crystal and despawn. So I patiently wait for the next group of ghosts and hope I can stack them and nothing goes wrong, but of course it goes wrong and I fail again, having to reset the boss over and over. Next pull, the stars finally align and I figure it out. I get everything trapped by one portal. I even trap the Sargeri guy too, so he can't damage me, and we gather up all of the ghosts. I decided it's now or never. If I fail, I fail. I gave it my best. I come out the construct, I AoE every single ghost I can, then I one-shot the boss, getting glory of the Hellfire Raider and the Infernal Direwolf mount. Another meta achievement mount, and I never have to come to the Citadel ever again as I ride away on my wolf. I ran many raids once more that I just won't show you because it didn't drop anything. I also wasted a lot of time jumping off edges with Burning Rush and dying, because once again I am super clever. But Yogg-Saron, the one I really wanted to mount off this challenge, didn't drop me his Mimrion's head, and that stung. I guess I'm always just going to be raiding Ulduar. And the same goes for Dragon Soul. Experiment and Blazing Drake just wasn't meant to be. I went back to Siege of Orgrimmar because at least killing Garrosh is just super quick thanks to this skip and it's fun. And never mind, second kill, Kokron Juggernaut, a really cool looking mount. One of my favourite Scorpion mounts in the game, now it's mine. Maybe my luck is picking back up. So while I've also shown you my Mr. Pandaria farm, I've also been going to Argus every day to kill the rares here. There's quite a few mounts to obtain. But unfortunately for me, no luck with these guys. But I had 4 chances at Antorus now, and honestly the mount that drop in this raid are just some of my favourites. So I went in there on Mythic difficulty first, as 2 mounts can drop from this one. And the second boss is the main one I want, it's a Dreadhound. So I one-shot then, and I'm instantly rewarded with the Antoran Charhound, and I'm over the moon. I can't tell you how hyped I was to get this. This model is one of the coolest models in the game and nobody can convince me otherwise, and I was so happy. Thinking, could this day get any better with 3 raid mounts so far? I killed Argus the Unmaker expecting to see that Unshackled mount, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. The rest of my day was spent running every single raid, with Nighthold being the worst pain as I had to clear to the last boss every single time on 3 different difficulties. Not a fun experience, but my reward for doing so? A 0.77% toy, apparently, that is rarer than the actual mount. Oh, come on. Then, on my very next run, my final run of the Nighthold, I finally got another rare item to drop. Yeah, the same goddamn toy dropped back to back. Well, at least I guess it's worth 2 gold 50. After sending over gold to my other characters to enchant them for PvP, then selling everything I've made, I had quite a bit of gold in the bank, and I thought, why not just buy an auction house mount or 2 if I can afford it to bump up the numbers? So that's what I did. I went and purchased a Ruby Panther for 26,000 gold, giving us another to the collection. And it actually looks really nice in the evening set of Durotar flying around in the air. I then ran Dazralor another 4 times, but no Mythic Jaina mount and no Gmod. Maybe one day. Along with going and killing Sylvanas once more, as I can just never kill her enough, but while soaking in the sights, my fried brain runs straight off the edge, marvellous. I also tried my hand at another rare in the moor. By doing our objective to stop the feeding, we can follow the Gorge Shadehound into his den, then we can kill him. No mount, but one I'll definitely farm in the future. Then as nighttime was upon us, I couldn't open that primal egg I farmed earlier because it still had apparently another 20 odd hours, which means the duration is not 3 days, it's more like 3 days and 23 hours. However, I did open it the next morning and recorded it just to show you I did get the colour that I wanted. Can't add it for the challenge, but at least I was successful with that. As I was about to finish off, I really just wanted another mount. So I figured screw it, before I head off for the night, let's buy something I've not done yet, and that's a Profession mount. For a low price of 1,290 gold, I buy myself a flying machine, meaning I've got a total of 38 mounts in 7 days, with mounts from raids, dungeons, quests, achievements, drops, profession, gold. I really tried to add as much variety as I possibly could, and it's my first time doing a video or anything like this. As we ride off into the sunset of Durotar, our 7 days is up, but we always have 7 more. And with eggs in the bag waiting to hatch, well, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you're new, check out boot.dev, thanks once again for sponsoring the video. I appreciate you all watching, and I'll see you in the next one.